Hello there, my friend. Thanks for watching today. You are watching my weekly video blog, and I am Gina Zwig with Positive Life Dog Training. I'm sometimes asked by my clients to teach their dog no, or to help them to teach their dog no when their dog is doing something they don't want them to do. And my usual answer is something like this. Let's think about, instead of just no, not that it's wrong to try to teach your dog no, but I really like to think in terms of what would we like our dog to be doing instead? What we would we like them to do right now? So just a couple of examples of this would be your dog is barking excessively at the delivery, Amazon delivery, or any noise outside. You would like that barking to stop. But if you think about what would I really like them to be doing right now, it's more helpful. It just telling your dog no isn't really giving them any more information. You might startle your dog enough to just interrupt the behavior, but they're more likely to just go right back to it if they don't know really what they are supposed to be doing. So that's what I like to talk about. Some examples of typical, I would call unwanted behaviors, and something that you could teach your dog to do instead, or pull from a skill that you know they already have, instead of just saying no. So, for example, your dog is jumping on a visitor. Your dog is very excited to see a visitor. They come to your house, or you meet a neighbor on the street and they start jumping on them. Well, you could teach your dog to sit to greet, and your dog may already know how to sit on cue. So, if you can get them calm enough to get in a sit, instead of, they can't be sitting and jumping at the same time. Instead of just saying no, down, off, um, tell them what you do want them to do. Ask them for a sit and then reward that sit. And then they can, with either a treat, or the reward could be then they get to greet the visitor. The visitor can give them some of that attention that they've really been after by jumping. If you practice that enough, your dog will learn that when a visitor approaches, either again on the street or at your house, that the default is, oh, if somebody's coming, I'm going to just sit politely, and I know that I'm going to get all the attention that I want. Now, this is for a dog that obviously is excited to see people and is wanting to jump because they're excited, not a dog that doesn't want to be approached by people. I just wanted to be clear about that. Another example would be barking. Now, I just alluded to barking for when somebody knocks on the door, a delivery person, or whatever. If your dog is excessively barking, or just barking when you don't want them to bark, I mean, dogs are going to bark, right? But you can ask for, if your dog knows down, stay, ask them for a down and stay. Then if you ask for a down, stay, when your dog is laying down, not that it's impossible for them to bark, but they are much less likely to be barking and barking and barking when they're in a down position. And so that's just, again, if that's something your dog knows, just think, oh, what can my dog be doing right now instead? And then when you think, okay, what I would like them to do right now would be laying down quietly instead of barking excessively. If they don't know that, then help them to learn how to do that. Help to build some of those skills that you can pull from when they're doing something you don't want them to do. Another example of a behavior you could pull from is go to place or go to mat. I call it mat targeting. And I'm going to be doing another video blog on mat targeting coming up soon. So watch for that. But for example, say your dog is way too excited when visitors come, or they are maybe bothering you when you're eating dinner, either begging or just being obnoxious, and you want to have a quiet moment. and you would like your dog to chill or just stop doing whatever it is that they're doing, you can ask for that. You can say, go to your place. And that is something that obviously needs to be trained. They don't just know what that means. So if your dog does know how to do that, or a stay, ask for that in that moment. And again, if your dog is doing, you're trying to eat dinner and you're just not able to eat peacefully and you're just kind of putting up with it, just think, you know what? I think my dog knows how to chill on their mat, and I'm going to ask for them. And then continue to build that skill so they can stay a little bit longer and a little bit longer and just chill peacefully. If your dog is getting into something that you don't want them to get into, their head is buried in the garbage, they're just about to go for that chicken bone you just dropped in the kitchen, you can ask them for a leave it. And leave it is something I always train with, especially with puppies. That's just something, it is a great skill to have. If you don't already have that skill with your dog, that would be a really good thing to teach them. And when they do leave it, then you reward with something else. Something at first you would reward with something better than the thing that they choose to leave that they're going after. With my puppy Rory, we use leave it a lot. There's a lot of things he wants to get into. It's getting better. He went through probably a 3-week period there where he was just testing out everything. Everything. Part of it is that he is teething. It's not an excuse, but he really does want to chew on everything, but also just exploring, looking for attention and just being a puppy. So wanting to get into a lot of things. So we use Leave It. And we just started that when we're not in a moment where he's after something. And I have spent a fair amount of time teaching and rewarding for Leave It. And so when he is going for something, really don't want him to, I use the Leave It cue. And we're starting to need it less and less, but it's a great skill to have. Say your dog is bothering your other dog or your cat or your kids. There's a great skill that I love to teach, and it's so fun. If you've watched any of my other videos or read some of my blogs, you will probably have heard me talk about hand targeting. It's just so fun to teach, and it's also just super useful. So the verbal cue is touch. And so what it is, I just put my hand out. You'll see in the video demo with Rory that I say touch, put my 2 fingers out to the side, and he comes up and he just touches his nose to my hand, and it gets him away from other things that he's doing. So it's a great skill to have. If your dog doesn't know that, watch the demo and you'll see how you can easily teach your dog. You can see in the video that Rory was going for a plastic bag. I think he was chewing on rabbit poop and all sorts of things in the yard. And he was kind of distracted too because it was a little bit hot out there. So that is for just so many other things that, if your dog is just starting to wander off a little bit too far, you can use that in um, conjunction with recall practice for coming when called. A lot of times, if your dog, recall practice, coming when called, is a really important behavior. And so that's something you do want to work on with your dog. Sometimes in different situations, it's hard for them. They don't want to come away from what they're doing. Sometimes, for whatever reason, they will be more likely to come when you just say, touch, you put your hand out, make sure it's a really good reward, especially if you're calling them away from something they're really into, like Rory was. And so it's just another thing you can bring in, like I said, a behavior they already know, which would be hand targeting, or something you can easily teach. And that behavior can be used in so many different situations, just moving your dog from one place to another, stopping them from doing something, calling them to you, just helping out with getting in and out of the car or on the scale at the vet. Very handy. So that's the video that I did with Rory this week. So let's just see how Rory did, and then I will come right back to you.
Rory, touch. Good boy. Got a little nose boop on the hand. Good buddy. So how he would start out is real close to the nose. There he goes. Back to licking water out of the plant. I'm going to try it again. See if he will come away from. Now he's licking water out of something else. Rory, touch. Good buddy. Another nose boob. Good boy. So I would normally start very close to his nose if we were starting from nothing. Rory, like that is what it would start as. And then we would just move a couple inches away. Rory, Rory, touch. Yay! He sometimes wants to come at me with an open mouth. I'm really just looking for that little nose boop. Any place on the hand, this is the hand gesture. So instead of an open palm, which can look like a stay or a down, it's just this. So I can either go this way or that way with different distractions. We're outside and he has lots of things that he would like to look at. So it's a way you can use to call your dog to you or to get him distracted and onto something else when he's doing something you really don't want him to do, which for a puppy happens a lot. Now he has a piece of plastic. So let me see if that will work for this because we can use leave it, but touch just gives him something else to do and then I can distract him. So let's try. Rory, touch! Come on, buddy. Good boy. So he's got the plastic and good buddy. I trade him. I give him the treat. Here, buddy. And I got I think it's a poop bag that got shredded by the lawnmower. So I got that away. And then so I would like normally like give him a toy or something else to do. Good job, buddy. That was so good. Potty break. And I'm not using a clicker. I just wanted to show what it would look like when I don't use a clicker. The verbal reward marker that I'm using, I'm just saying yes at the moment he touches his nose to my hand. So he's behind the camera right now, really into sniffing something. So I'll see if I can get his attention. Rory, touch! Yay! Oops! What happened? Rory, touch! Yay! Are you hot out here? I know, buddy. Good boy. Such a good boy. That's a good buddy. We'll go back in a minute. Good job. Okay, so now I think he might be eating some bunny poop. Let's try this. Rory, touch. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. You don't need that bunny poop. Good job,
So
buddy.
I think he did pretty well considering how distracted he was. But we did practice this in less distracting environments at first. I started out really an inch away from his nose. I wasn't calling him across the yard right away, and we started even in the house. So the way you begin is you actually rub the scent of some really nice smelly treats on the front and back of your hand. So at first, here's the hand gesture. Thank you. So at first, your dog is really just curious and smelling your hand. But then every time he bumps his nose to your hand, say yes or click, and he gets a treat. He quickly connects, oh, every time I give a little nose boop, I get a treat. And so they're willing to come further and further to do that. And I think it's very fun for them to do it. And I have also noticed for dogs that need a little boost of confidence, maybe they're a little shy around people, or they just are not naturally real confident, hand targeting can be a great confidence booster. It's usually a pretty quick win. I have had a couple of clients whose dogs simply did not like a person's hand that close to their face. and that's okay. If your dog doesn't want to learn that, is uncomfortable with it, you don't have to force it. But typically, it's a pretty quick win. It's a confidence booster for both of you. And I hope that you find that helpful. Well, thank you so much for watching today, watching this week. I hope to see you back here next week. We are going to be talking about med targeting. Like I mentioned earlier, go to your place. If you're at all interested in that, make sure you check out next week's video. And also make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss anything. And I will also put in a PDF of the hand targeting behavior if you want to just have that for your reference. So look in the description on the YouTube video. You can click right on that and print your own out. So thanks again for watching. I will see you next week.
My name is Gina Zwig. I'm a professional dog trainer and owner at Positive Life Dog Training. It is my joy and passion to share with you the wonders of positive reinforcement training and to promote the positive treatment of the most amazing creatures on the planet, our beloved dogs. In my video blog, I share dog training tips, recommendations, lots of free resources, and training demos, all to help you and your dog live your most positive lives together. If you're a dog parent or caregiver, and like me, you also like the idea of making our dogs' lives continually better, then you're in the right place, my friend. Be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And thanks so much for watching, my friend. Be sure to scroll down in the description to grab any links to resources I've included in this post. I hope to see you next week.